Welcome back. I'm Diana Scalhorn. I'm teaching you abstract painting using natural elements. So let's carry on. You had homework last time, and the homework was to go in around your alcohol drops, bringing some up and some the same. And then you were to go through your treasures and do Payne's Gray around each one of them so it pops them. And what else were you supposed to do? Your homework also was with the different glazing, changing the colors that you originally put down, purples and oranges and greens. So great, I'm glad you are all back and ready to move on from there. So what I do in my next step is I either take a picture, or that's what I did this time because it's more, it's easier for me to take a picture. Sometimes I'll even take it home and put it down where I watch TV so my eye can glance every once in a while down there, because what I'm looking for is movement in the painting. Where there's, if you look here, it's very blunt, but then I've left a little bit of yellow poking here and glazed a Payne's Gray around it. So when you look afar, you could see this blunt line, which bothers me. Everyone's different, but this bothers me. And if I want it to be rounded and going in and out, I need to find these areas that I want to improve in. And that is a really good way of doing it, is showing, taking a picture and looking at it at different eyes. Today, I know where I'm going to start doing it, and I'll show you how. There's still a lot of color down on here, and so it is distracting from your focus. So remember where your focus is. So if you have bright colors all over the place, your eyes are going to tend to look for those. And of course, our shells and things aren't super bright. So what we haven't done yet is our crackle. Remember, we laid the crackle down and it dried, and now it's nice and flaky. So let's work on that first. So I have, I think this is the brushes that I'll need to do this for today. Is this size, and a little one to go in and around. But for the crackle, I'm going to use this flat brush. And this flat brush, if you can see, is quite wet right now. And I don't want it that wet because I don't want it falling in between the cracks. So this is sort of a dry brush that I want. So I will wipe that down to a fairly dry, not drippy. And I decided, because of the natural elements around, I want to keep it sort of earthy. So I'll start with that first. And I have a transparent brown iron oxide that I'm going to use. A lot of times, because it's not very much I'm going to use, I dip it right into the ends. I don't know if that's bad or good, whatever, but that's what I do. Just lightly put a little bit on the end of your brush. And we don't want to get it go in there. You just want a nice, hold your brush even further down than you would a pen. And I've decided to put kind of the brown all on the outsides. You could see here and here, when we put the other colors, it started to drink up the other colors, which is fine. Kind of a fun thing. So your brush, hold at the end and lightly see how it's turning that nice? You still want to see the cracks so that you don't want a really wet brush. So let's do that in and around here, bringing it forward. Nice dry brush. Take some more and let's put it in here. Oopsie. See, it's picked up the Payne's Gray and the pink here. If you see, this one here, it's got the brown through here, and then I've done the Payne's Gray more into here. And that's kind of what we're trying to do, that effect. Well, take your time. Listen to your favorite music. And just be light. Light. If you can see here, where the pumice was put, there's a little dab of pumice underneath there. And then I put crackle on top. And pumice and crackle don't get along very well. Over here too. But it's kind of fun. It has this little like petal texture. Okay, so then we'll dip that in there, put the lid back on. Don't need much for that. Oh, you know what? We have Payne's Gray in our from yesterday. Let's see how it turned. Oh yeah, we can use it. Yay! No wasting. There you go. So dry your brush off and take a little bit on both ends. And here you go. You don't have to cover it all. Oh, I like that. That's nice when it goes into where the red was. All right, so you work on that next, and I'm going to carry on with, I'm not complete, but I'll have homework too. Let's move on to the next thing I want to show you. Let's put this back on here. When we've gone in and around with our Payne's Gray to make these things pop, I actually went back over to here and did a glaze over top of some. So there's 3 levels now. The levels of the alcohol. There is the far back ones, medium, and then forward. Adding dark, pushing things back, not touching like this here is quite bright. So what I want to do for this is soften this edge so it looks like it's folding. That would take my medium brush. And let's see if this stayed from yesterday. I did a little more work, but see, it's still nice and pliable. But let's add a little more. Again, that's the medium gloss with Payne's Gray. Mix it up, because there's quite a bit still in there of color. Let's go along here again just to darken it more. Let's see, we have it here. And let's bring this line darker. Now this is something you have to remember to do your sides, unless of course you think you're going to frame it. It's always good to do in the habit of doing the sides. Doing it more. So you cannot be afraid of getting rid of some color. And if you could see in here, when I went over this ripple on top of the magenta with the Payne's gray, I built it up. You just let the brush take on the paint on the other side, so it builds up the ripple. So we're going to make this even darker in here, this part. This part takes quite a while. So I just want to show you, well, for instance, this one. This one used to be as bright as this. Yeah, not kidding. But you go in with your different glazes and you decide where you want things to pop up. But the majority is in different layers. Like the magenta in behind here, I've put many layers of glaze on top for it to look further back. So this will take a while to do. And you just, like I said, or in here, you dark, put this all dark. Play with it. Look in the mirror. Let it sit over there. You'll see amazing things that, oh, you know, that'll be really cool. Like for instance, when I came along here, this used to be yellow. This was bright yellow, and this was yellow. And then I had a blue, the Payne's gray through here. Well, when I put it far away from me, I'm looking at, and the blue just went right off the page. So I thought, well, you know, I'm going to darken this, and I probably will darken this one too because it's way too bright. Because right now, see the difference? Bright looking there. Take this away to a different depth, then this will pop. So here I've on this all was yellow. I put Payne's gray down, which turned it this beautiful green. And then on top of that, in not all the areas, just some, I put the magenta glaze on top. So it's leaving this really nice. I think that's really nice. I probably will leave this area like that, but I'll carry on through that, and that'll be your homework too. But I do, before we say goodbye today, I want to show you how to do the bronzing. I love the bronzing. So I would get that same brush, that same brush I used for in here. You can have, you know, your own color. Again, the bronze I used with just the lid right out of the lid. So what I used this for, which I'm going to show you in this area where I think it's it's done, I really like that area. Where all the texture is popping, I want to put bronze on. See how it goes up against that blue? It just pops things out. Oh, I love that. So yeah, you just play. Okay, that's all we're going to do today. Your homework. Your homework will be to go through, look in your pictures on your camera or in a mirror, or put it aside, or do all three of them, and see where you can have movement. And remember, putting dark makes it further back. So use your glazes to darken an area and let it go like that. And then using your small brush, dry for your crackle. And we'll see you back next time.